there would be no distractions coming in. The last time I did a Instagram live, I had like notifications. I was like, oh great, it's
Oh no.
So hopefully it won't.
Yeah, you're fine.
All right, welcome to the Stretch to Go podcast, Instagram Live today. I have a friend, a special guest, Jaime Boswell with Totem Health and Wellness. She's based out of Catonsville,
Yes.
Maryland here. And this is, of course, the Maryland Small Business Series that I started doing on my podcast. But I wanted to do this Instagram Live just so that we can get live feedback, and we're actually gonna have some demonstrations. I asked Jaime to bring in some protein because she does work at a vitamin shop also. So I just wanted to kind of do some taste testing. But welcome to the Stretch to Go podcast, Jaime.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for having me. And just to correct you, sorry. Actually, no, I no longer work at the vitamin shop. Yeah, so this is news to Ian too, and Ian did not know this. So I would say in November is when I decided to leave the company, and I am now pursuing my business full time. So yeah, so thank you. Very excited to bring those news up. I'm actually sampling one of the products that I carry, Thorn products. This is one of the ones I carry. I like them because they're clean. You know, they have minimal ingredients and such. This one is chocolate. So I'll have you have a taste of this. 21 grams of protein. And, protein is a building block for our bodies. Very important. Here you go. Let me know what you think. Because everyone's supposed to get at least 1 gram of protein per pound body weight. Yeah. And that's, of course, with water, but of course you can mix with almond milk or milk or whatever you prefer.
Very smooth. Not chalky.
Yeah.
No aftertaste.
That's why I like it. It's pretty smooth, easy to get down, even with the water. Again, 21 grams of protein.
Okay. Yeah. How'd you hear about this brand, Thorn?
Actually, people used to come in the vitamin shop when I worked, and they kept asking us, do you carry Thorn products? And I said, sorry, we do not. And so I researched it, and I found out they're exclusively online. And the reason why that they do that is because they want to protect their name and their value. So they want to make sure that they're in control of how their products are presented and such. So that's why I decided to go with them as a company too as well. And
I see they're NSF certified sport, which is important for athletes, professional athletes, I believe.
Yeah.
Because that's a marker of meaning that they can take this without getting drug tested and whatnot. Is that correct?
That's correct. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So it's safe for them and everything throughout their progress for doing, the athletes or, anybody that wants to grow.
Okay. Cool. All right. So as part of the podcast, obviously I want people to kind of learn more about who you are and your kind of origin backstory of, where you came from and where you are currently. So go ahead.
Yeah, no problem. So I guess how I became a part of this is because, when I was younger, I had digestive issues as a small child. And as I got older, nothing, I was going to regular doctors and everything, doctors after doctors, nobody was really getting to the root cause, right? Finally, I was inpatient first, and the lady was like, you need to check out this herbalist. And I said, okay, I've never heard of that before, let me go check it out. So I went there, and, she says it's going to take some time, because that's part of the process, she says, but I can get you in a normal state where you are. I was ridden with candida in my body. What that is like it builds up your body, creates inflammation, bloating. It's like an overgrowth of sugar in the body, and so it was that and like tons of other things that had happened with me. So I first got allergy tests done, figured that out, and then from there the herbalist put me on a regimen for like 3 months and like reversed my symptoms. Well, in the midst of all that, I felt better than I ever had my whole life, right? But I'm still researching it on my end because that's who I am. Yeah. And I was like, well, let me see exactly, how all this works. And then I kept researching and I loved it. So I said, well, let me go back to school. And at the time I was in HR. I was the human resources manager. And I helped with people with leave of absence. And that's what kind of like did the turning start of my career. Things with HR got a little bit crazy. So, as every company does, right? Sure. The laws were ever changing. It got to be high demanding. So I said, you know what? It's time. I'm almost done my schooling. Let me cross over into something else to get more into wellness so I can learn. And then that's when I interviewed with GNC and Vitamin Shop. And then I chose Vitamin Shop because they had more herbs and such, and that was more my background. So I'm mainly I'm certified with herbs, herbal science as well. So that's what kind of led me to what I was doing. And then another thing, part of it, just the back end of the story, my mother had multiple sclerosis. So she, watching how she was throughout the years and deteriorating from all the drugs and everything else that happened, kind of like pushed me along even further with that, so that's what kind of led me in there. Vitamin Shop was like a stepping stool. They taught me a lot the time that I was there, and that was my way to cross over. They knew I had a business too as well, so I worked part-time with my business, and then I worked with Vitamin Shop. I work still with a lot of the local gyms in the area to kind of help promote wellness and also sample products and stuff, just to make sure everybody's finding something that works for them.
Sure.
That's kind of like led me where I am today.
Okay.
Yeah.
So with herbal science, kind of help me understand, like, what is herbal science? Like, how's that? Is it like you're actually going foraging in herbs and?
Well, yes, you can do that too as well. Of course, I've kind of sped up the process, right? So I now am partnered with Nature Sunshine too as well.
Oh, okay. That's an organic supplement. Okay. Yeah.
Yes. They're the longest well-known herbal company that's been around. I want to say, I don't remember the exact year, but I want to say like 1965. It's kind of ringing in my brain. They're the first to encapsulate herbs. So you don't have to mix herbs and such, and do all that. So it's a little bit easier for people to take, a little bit more quicker. And then what I do as well is, like, I've studied herbs for so long. So, I know like what is supposed to go together. So, because a lot of people need to be careful, like some things still might interact. Even though it's an herb and it's natural, you still got to be careful. It may interact with other vitamins and herbs, prescription medication. So you got to be careful. And that's why a practitioner like myself or someone like me should be, here to answer those questions, basically.
And then how do you become, a practitioner of practicing herbs?
Yeah. So as I was working full time, I found a school based out of California. So I was able to do it online while working full time. And they had an amazing curriculum. And it studied like nutrition, your vitamins, your herbs, your anatomy of your body. Basically, they stated, if the FDA ever cleared it, you could be a doctor one day. That's just how extensive and well-rounded that it was. We can only pray that FDA will recognize us more, in the future. I mean, things are starting to open up and get a little easier for us, but it's wonderful. And I like the fact that too, some herbalists don't work with doctors, but I will say I do work along with doctors too as well.
Okay. Like Western medicine doctor?
I think it's very important to mix Eastern and Western medicine, because we need each other. So I have noticed most doctors are becoming a little bit more aware. Some are still, stuck in the Western, and that's fine, but some are still becoming aware, and I think that's what I'm trying to do too, is get people more aware that we can work together.
Gotcha. And then where do you typically, who are the demographics of people that come to you? What do they do? What's the age group? The background, what kind of issues are they coming with to see you?
Yeah, no, that's a very good question. So recently I just started seeing children, mainly 10 years and up.
Is that considered young, like too young, or like that's?
No, it's about average.
Okay.
It's about average. So it starts out, at 10 years old. I see people all age groups, on up to seniors. Another thing is most people have been coming in recently with like stress and anxiety, kidney issues. High blood pressure, something as simple as that. High cholesterol. Just someone that wants general wellness. They're like, Jaime, I just am not feeling 100%. I want to get checked out, or with your system, and figure out, how can I better make myself feel better? Get my better optimal self, basically.
I kind of noticed that. So being a fascia stretch therapist, I guess I'm in this realm of alternative, holistic type of the world, and so I'm slowly have become not educated, but I'm slowly learning this type of services that are offered, because as you know, with fascia, it's kind of like a woo-woo thing, and I don't know. No, help me to understand. Even like you're like holistic, practitioner type. do people kind of see like you're like a voodoo type of magic, but like
sometimes, yeah, exactly. The same thing, kind of like what you experience, you know, same thing, you know, that comes to me. Some people come to me and they're like, what is a holistic practitioner? Like, what, do I gotta eat vegetables all the time, you know? Like, do I have to be vegan? You know, and that's some of the misconceptions there, you know, there's a lot of different things, you know, to come that means holistic, right? Like, to give you an example from, I'll put myself on the spot, you know, a lot of people ask me, are you vegan, Jaime? No, unfortunately I'm not. I was like, and the problem being is, you know, there's a lot of vegan products that I can't take because I have my allergies and such, you know, so I need to have meats and such. So what I do, I look for organic meats, and that's what's important. You know, you want to find something that's got less chemicals, less pesticides and such, you know. And luckily, you know, most of those prices are coming down. You know, you can go to Aldi, you know, as you see, and they have like some really good prices on, you know, organic meats and stuff and fruits and vegetables. So, you know, kind of start there.
Okay. Yeah. And then how did you come up with the name Totem Health and Wellness?
Yeah, I know, it's very interesting, right? Yeah. Well, my heritage is Native American, so I wanted something to kind of, you know, correlate and go through that, so, and kind of stand for that. So, you know, of course, they're known for their totem poles and such, and I don't know, that's kind of like how I came up with it. You know, I wanted something to just kind of represent.
No, I did not know you're Native American.
Yeah.
What tribe do they come from, your ancestors?
Cherokee.
Cherokee, okay.
Yeah, I'm actually planning a trip in April where I can go down to a reservation and check it out. Yeah, it's something that's been on my bucket list for years. Yeah, very excited about that. Yeah,
that's cool. I have a lot of Navajo friends out in the Southwest, so
that's really cool.
I've kind of gotten to learn more about the Native American, so it's wonderful. One thing I want to know from you is that when you decided to become a holistic practitioner, what was one thing that I guess caused you to go from, you know, working at vitamin shop to now you're doing this full time? What caused you to go into full time right away?
Well, to be honest, I was into a lot of stress, you know, in my life, you know. At the time, my cat was very sick, so it was like basically taking care of her. I was taking care of my boyfriend's mother. You know, that was one. Another part was the demands of the work. You know, I was a store manager, and you know, the days in life now of being in management and retail are kind of, you know, a lot. You know, where you got the corporate coming down on you, you got the employees coming at you, you got customers coming in at the door at the same time. You know, for me, it was like a whirlwind of all this stuff just at one time just coming at me. You know, and I'll be honest, I had a mini breakdown. So I decided to take a leave of absence of work. My doctor thought that it was very important to do that. And I actually took a little bit of time for myself. And in that time is where I deep dove into my business, myself too, as well, to kind of figure out, okay, where does Jaime want to go with her life? You know, I wanted to continue to help others. I knew that it was time to cross over from my business, and I wasn't going to get anywhere if I was still working full time. I mean, luckily, you know, I was able to sell my condo, so I was able to invest some in my business to be able to do that. Yeah. Or if not, I don't know how I would be able to do it, but you know, I'm doing my best that I can, right? As we all are. But that's, you know, that's the leap that I've took, you know, to kind of get where I'm at now.
Would you suggest, what are some suggestions for entrepreneurs who are aspiring here in Maryland, like taking a leap of faith? Like, would you have them just go, you know, 2 feet ahead, or just kind of have 1 foot and continue to work? I mean, what are some things that you've learned along the way building a business? Yeah,
I mean, I say go for it, you know. If it's your passion and what you love to do, it's going to work, you know. It's what you put forth out it, you know. I think it's very important for people not to live in fear, you know. I mean, we all get scared sometimes, right? We all get nervous over certain things. But the whole thing is just don't let fear hold you back from what your dreams and your aspirations are. I think that's the majority of the things what happens with most people. So I'd say to just go for it, you know, make sure you have a good support system. I think that's important. You know, my boyfriend Jeff, you know, fully, you know, supports me, you know, and that helps. You know, I have friends and family that support me too as well, you know, but stay with that and just kind of follow your dream.
So as far as I wanted to kind of go back into like some of the misconceptions, I guess, with people coming, for your clients that are coming in, what are some objections or things that you have to help them go over the hurdle to help them see, you know, what you offer can benefit them?
Yeah, no, definitely. Well, I use a system called Zydel. So I brought the actual hand cradle in here now.
Okay.
So what you do is you put your hand on the cradle, and a lot of people are like, "What? How does this work?" So that's why I just created a video on YouTube to kind of like explain a little bit more in detail, because it's a lot. But it reads the body and it lets me know vitamins, minerals, nutrition, different areas of the body maybe that I can't pick up just by talking to people. Okay. Because yeah, if I talk to you and you're having issues with high blood pressure, I can tell you yes, you know, I can tell you what herbs to take for that, right? But this goes a little bit deeper, and this tells people, or tells me to correlate back to people like they have candida in the body, they have parasites or chemicals overridden in the body, mold. It'll pick up all these things. Okay?
Just from scanning?
Yes, just from scanning. Yes.
Well, how does it read it? Like,
so it uses galvanic skin response.
Okay.
It's very similar to like a lie detector test. It actually uses the same system as that, but it's for your body. Okay. So what this does is it registers into a software system. It's been FDA approved, and that way it correlates with the energy of your body to let me know, okay, you know, these are the organs of the body that may be affected. This is what's affecting them. You know, these are vitamins and minerals that may be recommended for this, or it'll do diet, nutrition, services. Like your services could pop up as a suggestion too as well. You know, things like that. And that's why I work with the local community to make sure, you know, I have a standing ground to refer somebody to another service if they decide to do that too. But the people, you know, that come see me, they'll have questions in regards to, okay, so again, like how does this work? Okay, so they're like, okay, so I have candida in the body. What does that mean? Well, you're going to have to follow a certain diet to be able to get rid of this. It means cutting back on sugar. And I don't say cut out sugar, because that's really hard for a lot of people. So that's a huge thing that I got to go over with people, because, you know, a lot of people love sugar, but, you know, that's what creates that issue. And I'm like, well, we got to slowly start cutting back. And I can see their faces and they get kind of like sad. And I'm like, give me a couple weeks, you know, just give me a couple weeks, see how you feel. And then we're going to take it from there. I just had a client call me the other day, and she said, Jaime, I've already changed my diet and I'm already feeling so much better. And I'm like, that's wonderful. And I'm like, I'm so happy to hear that. I can't wait to see you for your follow-up, because I'd like to see people within 30 days afterwards, just to kind of go over, I'll rescan them, making sure that they're doing better, you know, if I have to make any adjustments to the vitamins or herbs and such, you know, things like that.
Okay, so I want to throw myself out there. So I have prediabetes. I would be interested to do a diet scan to help me, like what's causing me to have prediabetes. I mean, knowing my family history of my dad has, you know, high blood pressure, my grandma had high blood pressure, high cholesterol. So I would love to see what comes up. Yeah. Because I've been battling prediabetes for 4 years now, and I feel like something maybe I could fix. Diet-wise, maybe lifestyle, or maybe something else. But I think that'll be interesting for me to kind of learn more about what's inside my body, for sure.
Yeah, I would love to. I'd love to set up a scan with you.
Yeah. Let's see. Oh, also, I want to kind of hear some more actual stories of clients that you've had so far, of how the services that you provide, how it's helped them. So can you share us some success stories that you've had of people who've come to see you, and, you know, some of the benefits or some of the changes that has helped them?
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, so I had a client come to me, and he had some high blood pressure and such, you know, and he's been dealing with this for years, and he didn't want to be on his medication any longer.
Was he taking, what was it?
There's I think it was lisinopril is what he was taking at that time. I have a lot of different in my head here, but I'm thinking lisinopril is the first one that kind of rings out to me. Yeah. And, you know, he's like, Jaime, I don't want to be taking all these medications anymore, you know, what is something that you can do? So, of course, you know, we checked his diet and such, and we made sure I put him on like a Mediterranean diet, because that's, you know, one of the well-known ones that are good to kind of help with overall care and such. Also, I suggested, you know, some vitamins and herbs to assist, you know, with the process. And I told him, excuse me, I said, let's work with your doctor if you're trying to get off the medication, kind of work alongside with them to, kind of slowly wean off because you want to do that. So he did that and slowly weaned off with his doctor, and then I incorporated the herbs and such. And, he's been staying with the herbs and exercising more in a source, very important, because, that is the key to wellness too. And it's been like a couple months now and he's been fine.
Yeah.
He's been doing really well with that. So yeah, so that's one. Another young lady came to me and was ridden with candida in the body, inflammation, chronic infections over and over again.
Sorry, I'm gonna stop it. What's can you help me? I don't know what candida is.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah,
no
problem. Yeah, sorry. I get on my road and I just don't know. So candida is a fungus that can grow within the body. It's an overgrowth of, the fungus, which can attack your organs. It can make you tired, sleepy. It can give you inflammation in the body, aches and pains, tiredness, sleep, kind of like everything else that's out there, right? That can affect your body. But it can come from like foods that you eat. Like if you consume too much sugar, breads, pastas. Yeah, I know. Everybody hates to hear that. They're like, oh my God, then what do I do? What do I eat? And that's what I tell everybody. Everything in moderation. So don't be alarmed or whatever, right? And it's just making sure that you keep your body balanced. And that's what I had to do with this, client. The first things first, we had to fix her diet, put her on a candida diet. So less of the foods I just mentioned. We had to do a cleanse, which I can tell you majority of people that come see me have to do a cleanse of some sort anyway because of the toxins in their body. That's just kind of good to reset the body to kind of get it back to a more healthier state. So of course, depending on how much they have going on their body, she had to do a couple rounds of the candida cleanse because it was so built up. So it took a couple months. But she increasingly started to feel better, in that time period. Of course, there's like die-off phase because of sugar. You're going to get some side effects from it where it's kind of like a drug, unfortunately. You get kind of shaky, kind of like feeling out of sorts, because you're trying to adjust the body to something different. But then she tried to go back to eat sugar after the fact.
Yeah.
And she could barely eat it.
No way.
Yeah, because your taste buds change. You're used to putting like six. She had like 6 packets of sugar in iced tea when she would make it, and she went to having nothing because of that. To give you like an idea. But so she afterwards she felt more vibrant, healthy. She could sleep better. More energy, just from, cleansing her body and getting back on track.
So I guess another question popped up is nutritionist to, holistic practitioner like yourself, what are the differences? Or are there some similarities that overlap?
Oh, they're very similar. Nutritionist though is just based on nutrition. So, because I'm a holistic practitioner, that's part of my whole scope.
Okay.
So like, yes, I'm a herbalist, I'm a nutritionist, I'm a practitioner, so which I can help with, different ailments, chronic diseases, things like that, simple things like colds and flu, whatever. Where a nutritionist, that is more or less on, critiquing like your diet, helping you with meals and such. They may suggest some, supplements or vitamins, herbs, but that's really their scope of everything.
Okay. Cool. Okay.
Yeah.
It's good to know the differences, obviously. So, if I'm referring to people, I know, okay, maybe you should see a certified holistic practitioner rather than a nutritionist. So,
yeah.
Okay. I guess for you, what are some lessons that you've learned along the way of building Totem Health and Wellness?
Yeah. Well, whenever you, I guess let me backtrack here. Okay. So actually, when I started my business was in 2015, and I actually started it under another name, Sanjeevi Wellness.
Oh yes, I remember.
I don't know if you remember that. Yeah. So, and I can tell you, and then this is another reason why I've changed my name too, because I've kind of learned some things throughout the years, as in my practice. Well, when COVID hit, right, that was a really tough time for us all, and the center that I was renting from decided to close down because of COVID. A lot of people had restrictions on like how you can come into businesses and such. So I was like, well, how am I going to see any of my people?
Yeah.
There was times where some people really wanted to see me and I was seeing them out of the back of my truck. I'm not even kidding. Like COVID was some crazy times. So it was like, what else am I gonna do? So I had like no business at the time. I mean, thankfully at the time I was working at the vitamin shop, so that was my other income. But I was like, well, I don't want to continue paying taxes for, you know, my business, you know, when, you know, I can't do that. And I'm like, what's gonna happen with COVID? So I had put a pause, what I thought I put a pause on my taxes with my business. Well, I did not, unfortunately. So when I went to do my taxes the following year, I found out that they're like, I sent in the money to pay for Snapsave Wellness to keep the name going and everything, right? And they sent my money back, and they're like, we don't have you on file. We have your business as being dissolved. And I'm like, excuse me? I'm like, how did that even happen? And I was like, I just, you know, thought I paused my taxes.
Yeah.
You know, and they're like, no, your business is dissolved. And I was like, well, how can I reopen it? And they're like, there is no reopening unless you change your name. And I'm like, well, and I was like, well, what am I going to do about that? And I was like, because Snapsave Wellness was so known at the time, you know, and I said, well, it's time for a rebranding. So that's what I took it as. So I said, well, let me get back more with my culture. So I thought of, you know, new business name, Totem Health Wellness, re-registered everything. And this was part of my process of my healing too. So this is what I was doing in that time frame. So I did the restructuring, and then I decided, you know, if I'm going to change the name, let's add in some more, you know, services and such. So I was able to take the Zytoscan from the Balance to the Select, which is a more in-depth system, so it can tell me more in detail of what's going on with the body, like exact, like, I guess, chemicals and like bacteria and such in the body, like actual names, scientific names and such. So it's definitely a little bit more advanced. So that's one thing I did. So always, like, if you get a setback, I always tell people, you know, think of how you can improve that setback. So that's what I took out of it, if that answers your question. I decided just add more services, and I've decided now too, because of COVID, to go more virtual. So I do now also have virtual appointments that I can do with the Zytoscan. I would just send this out to them, and they would get, and
this actual one?
Yes.
Oh,
so
okay.
I have a multiple of these.
Okay,
So I probably have 4 or 5 of these at the house. And what I do is I send this out to somebody, and they hook it up right to their laptop, very easy. And then I would read that with them. And they would get the printout report and such. And
in real time, basically.
In real time, in real time, and actually go over it in detail with them and such too. And then they can share that with anybody too. But that's something that I learned like along the way, you know, it's just, you know, kind of persevere, you know. I was like, okay, this is a mistake I made. How can I fix it, you know? So, and it actually ended up working out more in my favor. So, you know, different name, more services, you know, you just kind of got to keep going.
Yeah. Plus you get to reach a broader audience now, not just locally, but, you know, globally. So
yeah, definitely.
That's cool. Right now, what type of like marketing or sales tactics have worked best for you in growing your business?
Well, right now I've been doing a lot of health fairs. So I think that's important, you know, just getting out into the community. I also set up like local gyms, like Gold's Gym, LA Fitness, things like that. I go over like
Gold's Gym, Glen Burnie, that's you guys.
Yes, PPT. Yes, definitely. But I sample different products, go over like products and nutrition with people, answer any questions and such that they may have, just getting the education out there. I recently did a webinar too with Nature Sunshine.
Yes.
Yeah. I had probably over 100 participants on there. We were going over how to live with detoxing in the body and such, and in the environment and all that. Just kind of getting yourself out there, working with the community. I'm meeting with local businesses and such, and how we can correlate and work together to kind of help people, because that's the end goal, you know, right? We want to make sure that we can help people with our health these days, you know. There's definitely a gap there, and I feel like there's more than just doctors. You know, we need to all work together, whereas practitioners, you know, stretching, you know, which you do too as well, I think is very important, because, you know, that's how we're going to live a better life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you had to give any advice or tips to aspiring entrepreneurs here in Maryland, what could you share?
Yeah. Well, I would say definitely, you know, don't hold back. You know, it's always scary at first, you know, but, you know, just kind of break out there, go a little bit step beyond. Yeah, just follow your dreams and your passion. I feel like, it's, it is a tough market, tough world out there, but if you're following your passion, nothing's going to stop you. Just be true to yourself and, follow your heart. And I feel like, what it's meant to be will happen for you. I'm a big believer in that. Make sure you get a good support system. Again, I think is good. Look into resources. There are a lot of local resources that are free out there. Something that I found out in my studies is SCORE is a good mentoring program. You probably never heard of it either, huh? So I'm glad I can share this with you too. Yeah. It might be good for you to reach out to. Okay. SCORE is a free service that you can register to. They give you free webinars and such. They have free mentors that can help you with growing your business and such. So that's like a good sounding advice. I think even the county, you can look into it. I think they have some programs too that are free out there. Depending on what you do too, you can apply for grants and such. That's something, I'll be honest, I looked at in the beginning, but because I'm a holistic practitioner, they don't recognize me yet, unfortunately. Sure. I tried. A lady was so nice. She had a grant program and she ran me through the database, and she's like, Jaime, nothing's picking up for you. I'm so sorry. She's like, the only thing I could suggest is if you can get a nonprofit to work with you, and then they get the money and then they give it to you. And I didn't feel right about that. And I was like, who's going to give me money that I was like, no. I was like, I don't know how I'm going to do this, but I'll figure it out. So for me, selling my condo was the way to do it for myself, and taking some of that money to invest. But don't be discouraged, because you will always find a way. That's what I feel.
Okay. So kind of projecting in the future, but what are some of your future plans that you have for Totem Health and Wellness?
Yeah, so I still like to partner more with local community, other practitioners, doctors, other like-minded fitness trainers and such, anybody that's in the health and wellness world. I feel like we all need to network and work together to kind of help people. Yeah. We need to collaborate and figure out okay, and not be scared to, give our business to somebody else too. I think that's a lot of people get scared that they're going to lose business because of that, but I think it's important, because not one person can heal somebody, right?
100%, yeah, that's true.
It takes a village, sometimes. So it's nice to have those resources and community together and working together with that. So I think, that's something I want to still continue to grow. Another thing would be, eventually I'd like to have a standalone wellness center, where I have a one-stop shop and maybe have, because I do work with a nurse practitioner now that helps me with blood work and lab work and such. I refer a lot of my clients to her to get that part done, because I can't, but to have one-stop shop to where we can all work in the same facility possibly, and if that doesn't happen, then a virtual world where we can do that too. So we'll see where the world takes us, right? So I'm very open to how that happens. I feel like, the ever-changing universe and the world as we know it, right? Who knows what's going to happen. So I want to leave that open to happen as it happens and as it comes. Yeah. But that's my scope and my vision for how I want to grow it.
I guess, what would you want to share with the audience about Totem Health and Wellness? Like, how, I guess, what would they come to you for that you could probably help offer services? I mean, so kind of give us more detail about your services that you offer, how you do it virtually, because I'll probably, most people want to know what does it entail to do this consultation, a one-on-one visit. So kind of share us with that too.
So my main thing is a natural health consultation. Okay, so that's where I use the Zytoscan. They'll have to do the scan for probably about, I would say it takes about 15-20 minutes. But as that they have their hand on the scanner and the system is running, I'm sitting there with them and I'm going over, asking them a series of questions, kind of similar like your provider would ask, what is your diet like? What is you on any medications? Are you taking any supplements now? Are you using the bathroom regularly? What are you drinking throughout the day? How are you feeling? What are your main concerns? And as this is going on, I'm thinking in my head a program or something that I could do to help this person, right? The Zytoscan kind of is an extra confirmation on that. And also it gives me more precise, because it measures the herbs, vitamins, minerals, and such with that particular individual, okay? So it's more clued into what's going to work for their particular body.
Okay.
Because everybody's different. Not all vitamins and minerals and such are going to work the same for one person. What say ashwagandha might work great for one person, but for another person something else would work better for them. To give you an example. And ashwagandha is for stress and anxiety, by the way. Yes. If you're wondering what that is. But yeah, so that's how it would start. And then once the scan is complete, I will go over the detailed scan report with them. They receive a copy of that too as well. I'll give them an email or write down their vitamins and minerals recommendations, their whatever comes up in our conversation, whether it's diet. Exercise is important too, so some form of exercise is going to be incorporated in there. And then once I give them all that information, they can purchase the supplements or such on their own, and then I do a follow-up within 30 days with them. Okay. So that way we can rescan them, reevaluate, making sure their body's going back to where it should be, it's more in a balanced state. Mm-hmm. And then there may be another follow-up depending on what's going on with them. If not, then they can come see me as needed, kind of like a regular, like checkup and such.
Mm-hmm. So I guess in the follow-up care plan that you offer, what does that entail? Kind of just same thing that you're saying, doing a Zyto scan again. Do you kind of continue to give a couple of like advices, or what is that follow-up plan?
Yeah, so that would be either, a rescan with them, yes, reevaluate vitamins, herbs, minerals, questions that they may have, depends on their diet, how are they feeling and such, any kind of tweaks and stuff like that would be necessary. I also offer intuitive life coaching too as well. Okay. So people that are stuck, in their careers or with relationships or life or what have you, I can sit there and help coach them through that too as well. I also do a food for wellness scan, which is strictly just on the foods that you eat. And it's very similar, kind of similar to like a food sensitivity test in a way.
Because I've had those where they prick you in the back.
Yeah, so that's an actual allergy test. Okay, yes. Okay. So this one's a little bit like I guess it'll tell you like what foods. I'm trying to think of the best term for it that were layman's terms that everybody can understand. But basically, foods are more positive for the body, and then there's foods that are more negative to the body. So it'll tell you, okay, so your body reads higher for these foods, like say bananas, blueberries, pineapple. It says, you have a high tolerance for these. Like you can do these. And then there's like, okay, so cantaloupe and such are like low tolerance, and it'll say like, they call it DR. So then they're like, okay. So, and I can help create like the diet nutrition plan based on that. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so it's pretty neat. Yeah, and I even have like some vitamins and herbs and minerals and such in there too.
So you have some of these herbs supplements on hand? Or?
Unfortunately, no, because I don't have a standalone practice. I do rent my space, but I do have a source to where you can order them from. So again, I'm set up with Nature Sunshine, Thorn, and then of course Vitamin Shop too, as well as good as a resource for that.
Cool. That's good to know.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Last but not least, at the close, I would love to have the audience ways to follow you and maybe even book an appointment for consultation for any of the services that you provide. So if you want to share with the audience, first of all, social media handle, your website, an email, and of course the location that they can come see you. Go ahead.
Yeah. So you can find me on www.totemhealthwellness.com. I am located in Catonsville, Rolling Road, 516 North Rolling Road in Catonsville, Maryland. Also, again, remember I can do virtual appointments too as well. You can find me on Instagram for totemhealthwellness.com and Facebook. And I've also created a YouTube channel too as well. It's Jaime at totemhealthandwellness.com. But feel free to email me or send the information over at totemhealthandwellness.com. My email is jboswell@totemhealthandwellness.com. So very long, but you can still find me on the website too as well, or find me or message me online too as well. It's fine.
I'll make sure to include that actually on the Instagram live, so all the information definitely help so that people can look it up.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So to close off, like I said, this series for the Stretch to Go podcast is basically for the small business owners, just creating a community of like-minded people like Jaime and myself. We're just here to helping people, especially the body, to heal naturally to the fullest potential.
Absolutely.
And so definitely I want to have Jaime come here to share her knowledge and experience, because I don't know, and I'm always learning. I love learning about different things, especially if it's something that can help pertain to the body. Mm-hmm. So Jaime, thank you again for hopping on to the Christian Gun podcast. I appreciate you and your friendship. Thank you.
You're welcome, and thank you so much for having me, and appreciate you too.
Thank you. All right, and for those of you, don't forget to subscribe to the Stretch to Go podcast. It's every Friday at 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Spotify, and now it's on iHeartRadio as well. You can also, like I said, follow Jaime on Instagram. And of course, don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. That was great.
Yay!
That was fun.
Okay, now how do I stop this now? I think it's this. No, I don't know. No.
I noticed the live ones are tough.
Yeah. I think it's this. I don't know. It's X. And no, I think it also, and for all your viewers, I